Welcome to Goddard Adventure and Goddard Garage. Today's episode is going to start out in my dining room. Hope you guys enjoy the kids' artwork here behind me. I've got Goddard Garage pulled up on my computer here, and we're going to talk about some strategy for this video today. But I just wanted to start by just saying thank you to everybody who's subscribed so far. We're up to 502 subscribers, which is pretty awesome. This video is going to piggyback off of a previous one we made featuring the launch scanner right here. This is a bidirectional scanner that comes with like an Android OS, and it does not have any subscription fees when you buy the Honda version for Hondas. I'm not sure how new of a thing that is, but not that long ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was on the market for a bidirectional scanner, and all I could find was ones that had annual fees. So kind of like we covered in the previous video, this launch scanner right here doesn't have those annual fees, and that's very appealing to me. So I've got that one pulled up right here. It was $151, or it is $151, and this one had a really nice form factor, and it doesn't require your phone to work. I got sent another bidirectional scanner for Honda. This is the Kingbolen Soloscan, and it does use your phone as the screen. So with that, because it doesn't have to have the whole tablet kind of form factor, it costs less, so it's $89.99. Having these bidirectional scanners is a really big asset for anybody troubleshooting vehicles. It helps you reset all kinds of sensors, all kinds of different things on your car that you can't do with a regular OBD2 reader. That doesn't mean there aren't places for these types of scanners. This VPeak right here in particular, I use this actually daily, and I'm really excited to share how I use that. I basically use it in place of a scan gauge, and I use an app on my phone, and I have alerts set to indicate when my transmission temperature is out of or is too high, and I think it's a really sweet setup, so I'm going to have that in another video. The VPeak is really cool because it connects with Bluetooth, whereas my old faux seal, which again, this is old technology, back when I was buying this, this wasn't nearly as outdated as it is now. But this Bluetooth connects on the fly. It doesn't, knock your phone off the network because it's connecting via Wi-Fi, like the faux seal here. But this thing has been really sweet. And obviously, just having a standard OBD2 reader really helps with the standard check engine lights or different things like that. This video is going to be a little different, though. We're going to be trying to use the Soloscan to learn some or gain some insight into maybe what's happening with our 2007 Honda Pilot. As you guys know, it's running pretty darn rough when it's cold. It's been running rough for quite a while, and I've tried various things. I've tried replacing spark plugs. I believe I did a swap on the EGR valve with no change in symptoms. The rough idle pre-existed a lot of the engine work I did. It pre-existed the head gasket change. It pre-existed the ported runners that we have, the aftermarket cold air intake kind of thing that I've done. So it's been something that's kind of been plaguing the vehicle, and it basically turns on, and when you put it in drive, it's going to idle very rough until you drive it for 10 minutes. And once the engine temperature increases, it drives and runs pretty well. I'm not going to say 100%, but pretty well. It hasn't been unreliable. It starts up every time. But in this video, we're going to see if we can leverage the Soloscan and some technology that we have at our disposal these days to troubleshoot the Pilot. I don't expect us to have an actual resolution in this video, but I want to use the tools I have to try to learn more. So these days we have AI, and I've been using ChatGPT for various troubleshooting, and I've been pretty impressed with the strategies that it deploys and the information that it can give. in this regard, I just reported back that I have a high mileage 2007 Honda Pilot. It's running rough when the engine's cold. What's the most likely problem? So it goes into some different possibilities. Dirty or failing idle air control valve. I could be mistaken on this, but I believe this is basically the throttle body on my 2007 Honda Pilot. I don't think there's like a separate valve there. I've done a lot of repairs, but I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. So if I sound like I'm a little out of my scope here, I actually am. So let's see. So we got a clogged EGR valve. Again, I did a swap. I basically went to the salvage yard, grabbed one, and swapped it. Theoretically, you would see some difference in performance or, slight difference. There was no difference, which pretty much tells me, in my opinion, the EGR valve's not going to be my problem. Back to point one, we do have an aftermarket larger throttle body. It's from like the Acura models. I forget the exact model name, but that was part of our upgrade with our intake system that we did with the ported runners. It says that failing fuel injectors could be the issue, but as I read this, cold starts require richer fuel. A weak injector may struggle to provide. I guess maybe that could be applicable. And I haven't done any work on the fuel injectors. One of my theories for a while was maybe a vacuum leak. I have what's called a thermal gasket. I had them on the intake manifold and behind the throttle body. I was troubleshooting a whistle that came with the bigger throttle body that we installed, and it ended up being the thermal gasket wasn't sealing well enough, causing a whistle. Because I have the thermal gaskets down lower in where where the intake manifold meets the head on the runners. One of my theories is that maybe that could be leaking, causing a lean condition. So that could be something that this test today kind of helps uncover. I guess this one kind of goes in. This is the one that I was going to say I think is unlikely. If fuel pressure is low on startup, the engine may run rough until the system stabilizes. I would definitely say this is more paired with the engine being warm or cold rather than having time for the fuel pump to stabilize. Worn timing belt, stretched timing chain. We have a timing belt, and I forget exactly how long ago it was replaced. Well, it was with the head gasket, but that wasn't very long ago as far as the life of a timing belt. We used all the recommended parts and did the ASIN kit, bought from Rock Auto to try to avoid any counterfeit parts, so I think that's unlikely. This is the one that has me fearful. Engine wear, low compression. 315,000 miles, piston rings and valves may be worn, causing low compression, rough running until heat expands the components. That one is my fear, but also kind of what I think is probably wrong. When we changed the head gasket, we did have a temporary relief of symptoms, which is an interesting thing. For a while, it was idling better cold, and gradually it got worse again. I'm not sure how that would play into this because, the head gasket didn't do anything here. But that definitely, is an interesting symptom that it went away for a brief amount of time after the head gasket repair. All right, so that was a previous little query I did with it, with ChatGPT. Now I asked it, I said, I have a Soloscan. I'd like to start testing with it today. Can you help me know where to start? So it gives me some general information here. It says we basically want to monitor live readings, and we want to look for the coolant temperature, RPM, long-term fuel trim, short-term fuel trim, map, and it gives you little things to look for. The coolant temp should start below 100 degrees because it's cold. If it says it's above 100 degrees, that's a problem because the car manages its air intake based on the temperature. So if that's wrong, that could be it. Fluctuations in RPM could indicate idle control issues. It didn't say anything about it before, but even the oxygen sensors could be causing a bad condition with the fuel-air ratio. Ignition timing advance. So it basically gave me a bunch of generic information here, and it wasn't enough for me to act on. So I asked, are you able to create instructions specifically for the Soloscan tool? And it did a little internet search, and it gave me these instructions here. And that's what we're going to go through together today. And we're going to just kind of test ChatGPT to see how accurate this information is. But we're also going to test out this Soloscan tool here and see if we can uncover any information that leads us to the cause of the rough idle. So hopefully that wasn't too long-winded. But anyways, thanks for sticking around, and we're going to head outside here and do some testing. All right, we've transitioned over to the Pilot, and we've got the Kingbolen Soloscan here. You can see it's the model for Honda, so it doesn't require any fees for the updates for the bidirectional scanner. And I just wanted to show off the inside here. It comes with a really cool small zipper container to hold it in, and the form factor is actually really tiny compared to the launch scanner here, as you can see. So on the inside, it just kind of has a similar format here to the, more traditional OBD2 scanners. We're going to plug it in and see if we can do some tests on the Pilot to uncover what might be causing our rough idle issue. All right, so first things first, you're going to need the eDiag app from the App Store. As you can see, I've already downloaded it. And this gives us the ability to do system diagnostics, which are kind of the more advanced bidirectional type diagnostics. You've got the standard OBD functions as well. But we are going to click into the system diagnostics, and we already have our vehicle scanned in here, but if you didn't, you could do the VIN scan, get your vehicle connected to the app. So I noticed the tool is not the fastest. I don't remember if the launch is a whole lot more fast. It might just be a limit of these bidirectional scanners, but you do find yourself kind of waiting as it starts and does different things. We're going to select the USA menu. And wait for it to load, of course. All right, and we're going to confirm that it does look like all the information's correct. So we get the option for a health report, system scan, system selection, ADAS calibration, and service function. A lot of the health reports and scans basically do like a general kind of scan. We're going to go into the service functions, and we're going to see if anything in here matches up with the instructions that we found from our ChatGPT. We're going to start with doing a system scan, or basically do a test. I see right here EGR valve relearning, which is one of the items that could cause our rough idle. If the EGR valve is not functioning, it could cause the idle to be off at the beginning. So you can see here we've got the test. And we're going to begin the test. So it wants us to confirm that we're in neutral or park, that the vehicle speed is 0, and AC is turned off. And I can confirm that that is the case. So I'm going to click confirm. Now we're going to follow the directions. It says start the engine. So we're up and running. The engine is actually warm right now, which we're about to get into, but it's required for this test. So it's not idling too bad, but it's not idling perfect either. So we need to keep it idling below 1,500 RPMs, which we are doing. And it is doing the test. If you had a cold engine, it would wait till your engine got to operational temperature. But as you can see, this actuation test actually failed. So it appears that our EGR valve is no longer functioning. I've placed an order for a new EGR valve, and I'm excited to make another video installing that. But as you can see, this $90 tool allowed me to self-diagnose the issue we were having with our vehicle, or at least one of the issues. So we're going to get that replaced first, and we're going to head out, or we're going to see if that alleviates the rough idle issue. So maybe if you have a high mileage Pilot like we do and you're having an issue with the idle, it might be worth running an EGR test and picking up maybe a bidirectional scanner. That failure was actually welcome news for me. I really have been trying to figure out what's wrong with the rough idle that we're experiencing. In the past, I actually switched to a EGR valve from another used one from the salvage yard, and I thought that test was pretty valid. What are the odds of two valves being bad? But apparently our EGR valve is bad. So we're going to get that replaced, and hopefully that solves the rough idle issue. Once we get past the rough idle, we're going to switch forward to repairing other things in the Pilot. We got sagging, roof fabric. We've got rough and creaking suspension and all kinds of things we need to repair. The inside is pretty filthy right now, and it hasn't been getting as much love since we got the 2024 Honda Passport, which we love. But the Pilot still is our only vehicle with a third row, so if we want to carry more people, it's our best bet. And I want to fix it up for the kids to have as a vehicle in the future when they start learning to drive. So wish us luck as we work to fix up the Pilot, and consider subscribing to Goddard Garage. We really want to get this channel monetized, but I appreciate you sticking around. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Aaron, out.